love belongs to me. A nation's pride, the dirty water of the rivers. No one can take away her memory. Oh, England belongs to me.
Youth and manhood. A time when a young man must set sail on a voyage into the world. To gain his feathers, become a brave. To adorn arrows in his quest for knowledge and respect. This is a story of us, council estate kids, the nameless thousands without a voice, where there are no rules, only experience to gain. Scorned by many, understood by few. But as time goes by, we will always be there. Only the faces will change.
Everybody now, sing me a song. Go like this.
Skinhead to me is not like no movement. That's the last thing it is. To me, it's a way of life, man. It's a culture that I live by. It's about having pride in the way I look. It's about working for my living, earning everything I get. It's about going to reggae dances and having a good time, about enjoying the most multicultural culture in the world.
Hey, watch out, there's some skinheads running around here.
With white people, if they've got a problem about skinheads, I just think, well, you haven't got a clue, mate. Do you know what I mean? You just haven't got a clue, really. You haven't looked into it at all. Do you know what I mean? It's as simple as that. There's a lot of different things. It's all right to dance skinhead, sort of thing, but it's not right to be a skinhead.
When people ask me what a skinhead is, I tell them, you know, a skinhead is a working class guy or a girl, you know. A skinhead is someone who stands up for what he believes in and what she believes in.
The first thing to say, like, unfortunately, is, but I'm not what you think a skinhead is, which is like a Nazi or, you know, someone with shaved hair. And people quite often are like, no, how can you be a skinhead? You know, you don't have short hair. And I was like, well, that's not really what it was about.
Ask two skinheads what skinhead is about, you'll probably get 3 different answers, you know.
Skinhead is about like brotherhood. And it's about like it's just like a way of life and everything. And it's like you like stand for yourself and like your friends, and like you don't take any like slack from people or anything.
Well, a skinhead, to me, is somebody who's got a lot of pride, is very strong, but also very lost. You know, when I look at them now, I mean, we were all lost kids, you know, and a skinhead is in the heart.
A lot of people don't understand anyways. They think, oh, no, you got short hair, that's it, you know, you're white, you're a Nazi, you know, you're racist, you know, you don't like me because of my color. And then you try to explain, and they're like, they still don't understand.
To me, it was about pride in myself, you know, pride in the clothes, pride in the estate, proud of what we could be proud of, really, because at that age you need something to latch onto.
It's a feeling more than anything else, because it's hard to actually walk about like this knowing people hate you, but still feeling pride in what you are.
Well, I'd probably say it's like just believing in what you want to believe. Don't like take notice of everyone else. Don't go with the crowd. Don't be a sheep. Just like listen to what you want to do. If it's like you want to say something, say it loud. Just hang around with your mates and that.
I'd say a decent skinhead is someone that believes in himself, knows what he's looking for, knows what he wants, knows how to dress. Just someone that's well sussed, well clued up, knows what they're talking about. No mugs.
An event Seen from one point of view gives one impression.
I find the media absolutely incredible because it is totally and utterly based on misinformation and lack of facts by people who have no understanding of the subject they're writing about. It's white working class males are an easy target.
Seen from another point of view, it gives quite a different impression.
It's that typical stereotype image of the muggy, bonehead, glue-sniffing, granny-mugging thug, you know what I mean? And he's just not like that. It's just complete myth.
But it's only when you get the whole picture you can fully understand what's going on.
If there are skinheads out there, which they obviously are, who have taken heed from what they've read in the newspapers to become skinheads, and become skinheads for the wrong reasons, and maybe gone around causing trouble for no reason, then the blame of that lies at the door of the media, because it's a monster they've created.
I think really the media is probably the biggest enemy that the skinhead cult has ever seen.
Every racist attack, every time the word skinhead comes up, and skinhead is used as a synonym for Nazi, whether it is a skinhead or not, whether it is a hooligan or whatever, even hippie, no matter what he looks like, skinhead is the word for it.
Everybody thinks we're bad and we're whatever. We're evil and we're the last scum of all.
Aren't we?
Yeah.
There's never going to be a bunch of footballers get together and take it to court. There's never going to be, you know, we're lower than Bengalis, really.
Oh, wait, I know what you're talking about. Skinhead girls and skinhead guys, they have those bald heads, and they wear the big boots, right? Right? Yeah. And the way that you can recognize them out of a crowd is that they're burning a cross on your front lawn.
They can think I'm a hooligan, they can think I'm a thug. I don't care, they can think what they like, it don't affect me, do you know what I mean? But the thought of somebody thinking that I'm a racist, that upsets me.
I'm a skinhead. I ain't no Nazi.
Y'all explain it to me now. I didn't know.
You're just living an easy life by scapegoating all the skinheads, and then you can say, while looking into the mirror, well, I am not a racist because I don't have cropped hair.
Skinhead, being crucified for the sins of others. It's sort of like a misinterpretation, you know? Breaking the stereotype, you know, being crucified because people think of you as a certain way. Breaking that stereotype and proudly holding the banner skins.
I've read articles on skinheads in magazines and things like that, and they always say even the ones that aren't racist, you know, like hoodlums and will rob you, you know, eat your babies, shit like that.
One law for them, another one for us, which I think is like the skinhead logo.
One law for them, one law for them, one law for them, another law for us. One law for them, one law for them, one law for them, another law for us. No fun, no work, no job, no use. What else is you? There's an excuse. Families fighting, families looting. Next shooting. One law for them.
Everybody knows the media is controlled and run by middle-class people who've never lived in the environment that I grew up in, and how skinheads grew up. They've got no perception at all of how we are because they don't know us. How can you go to a public school and then go to a university and live in middle-class greenbelt land around London and work for the BBC and then tell us how we're meant to live?
They get their hair cropped, buy the uniform, and they're in. Narrow clip-on braces worn to be seen, but perhaps they're best known for their big boots, sometimes fitted with steel toe caps, which are not just for protection.
People say, oh, I can't understand it, you know, why they do all this. Well, people saying that, and these are top people, politicians or whatever, saying, oh, I can't understand it. Well, that's just ignorance, you know. If you don't understand something, then you're ignorant of it, you're uneducated on it.
There's a lot of hippies lost in the media at the moment who still carry a sore point for skinheads, and that's why it reflects in the way it does in the media.
Bollocks to the media, really.
Get up in the morning, slaving for bread, sir, so that every mouth can be fed. Oh, me Israelite. On my kids, I can basically remember it was
mid-60s I started to see them, probably about 66 time they started to sort of evolve, but by sort of 68, 69 it was rampant.
Shut them a tear up choices ago. I don't want to end up like Bonnie and Clyde. Oh, the Israelite. After a storm, there must be a calm. If you catch me in the palm, you sound your alarm.
You can't really explain it unless you've done it. It was just one of those magic feelings.
Well, the first time I got my hair cut, I had a hat on, I took it off and they just fell on the floor laughing. So I was a bit gutted. Because they used to call me Gonzo and their big nose, it just made me look even bigger.
I used to have long hair and that, and then I wasn't allowed to have my hair the way I wanted it and that. So I shaved it all off and I got hassled even more.
My dad punched me in the face, and my mum quite liked it.
You felt confident with yourself, but I mean, there's a lot of piss takers about it at the time. It's all, I'm in that playground chant, skinhead over there, what's it like to have no hair?
It just felt good, you know, it still feels good, you know, to like crop my hair, lace up a pair of ducks, I love it, you know.
When I first shaved my head, it was like, I bicked it, you know, I like shaved it completely bald. So it was really good.
We're having a party. I hope you are hearty. Yeah. We're having a party. I hope you are hearty. Sing it to me, children. Rum ba ba doo bam 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 ba doo. Rum ba ba doo bam bam. Intensify. Rum ba ba doo bam 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 ba doo. Rum ba.
The original Skinheads evolved out of the mods. The clothes, you know, with the stay press, the brogues, the suits. We're always, you know, in the evening smartly dressed. In the daytime it was jeans, braces, boots.
It goes from the sublime to the ridiculous, basically the style. I feel like 10 buttons on your suit is like very smart to the extremes of being snobbish.
The style was important enough for me to look like a skinhead. You could tell I was a skinhead, but I wasn't it. My brother and his friend were like prima donnas, really. They were like immaculately dressed and very elitist, very, very snobbish. A lot of snobbery in the skinhead cult, a lot of snobbery.
The only thing really that would distinguish in the old days the look of a skinhead to the look of any smart bloke was the length of his trousers. Skinheads always wore them about 3 or 4 inches shorter than everyone else to show off their white socks.
There's a pair of flares laid out in front of me and a pair of Dr. Martens. And for some reason the Dr. Martens appealed to me more than a pair of flares.
When I got to my mum with my Dr. Martens on the first time, she freaked out a bit. She thought, what the hell have you got on your feet?
Our parents actually don't like it so very much because they think, well, our religion is we're Jewish, and they think that don't fit together, doesn't fit together, and seeing us walking around with our boots and whatever. Our mother gets eyes like that. And
it's like gay people wear skinhead clothing, all right? And I've got nothing against gay people, but they're not skinheads, and they never will be skinheads because it's not about wearing big boots and shaving your hair.
When I first turned skinhead, all the old skinheads were giving me their stuff and I had some real class gear at that time. When you was going through 77, you couldn't get sod all. You know, be army lightweights, Arrington jacket, Fred Perry t-shirts. I mean, those were the things that you could pick up in the shop. Didn't later like when it kicked off, weird two-tone and what have you. You had a lot of gear that come out, but it come out labelled as mod wear.
It's like you've got this big thing nowadays about skinheads only wear Levi 501s. But originally, any pair of jeans would do, like you could wear Levi's, Wranglers, Lees, anything at all. Like, same with the shirts, people know, they say, oh, skinheads only wear Ben Shermans. Well, it's a load of rubbish, really. Like, originally, you wasn't even button-down shirts. It was just ordinary, plain, white work shirts.
When I went to school, you know, you had to wear a white shirt, so, you know, Ben Sherman, a white Ben Sherman looked much better than those sort of white nylon-y ones.
As the 80s went on, going on the scooter rallies and that, and you get lots more skinheads there. A lot more of them seem to be, you know, dressed into the original style, which was really good. It seemed to come back in quite a big way. Even the punk skins, you know, your National Front lot, they seem to be sort of trying to dress the original style.
It looks an extreme look. When you see somebody with a boots, shaved head, and I mean, it's kind of hard to look nice and quiet. And you look nasty, whether you are or not.
He was whistling when he strolled down to the Barking Road. The cosh felt comfortable against his flesh, his boots felt solid, secure on his feet. In a few minutes he would meet his mates, and soon they would be ready for an aggro.
I mean, really, in my view, being a skinhead was all about violence, and that's it. Whether it was packies, blacks, football supporters, whatever, violence.
The way of being a skinhead is that if I have a problem with you, I would do it in a way that I feel necessary for me to do, which is normally violence. If I don't like you and you say something to me that offends me, I'll kick your head in. Oh, shit!
I've had hammers over my head, iron bars over my head, I've been stabbed up, nose busted, steel pins in my hand, been shot at twice.
I've been shot. I got shot in like Seattle over a skinhead fight, you know. I've been stabbed. I got stabbed in LA in my face by another skinhead from a gang called Lemonheads, who are now Urban Boot Boys. You know, whatever, right? I've been in jail for like skinhead related shit. I've devoted my life to skinhead. I'm not gonna leave it.
Like one time I went to jail and like it was all over the news, like the media like made a big thing there, like 3 Nazi skins arrested and guns are found and all that, and then like I got beaten by the whole unit, and, like I had stitches all over my face and stuff. So it's like, you know, they obviously wanted me to get attacked. Like they put me in a unit with 15 blacks, you know, and like left my cell door unlocked, so.
I'm a little bit extreme though. I think violence is quite fun sometimes. It gives you adrenaline and stuff.
But people don't like getting hurt. Skinheads, blacks, Asians, people don't like getting hurt or getting grief. So we had a good rapport between all the different sections of town. But when it did go off, it went off in a big way. Usually wankers in pubs, pissed geezers, you know. And that's what it was, pissed white men. You know, the blacks had a lot of respect. We had a lot of respect for the Seven because we were exactly the same. People, exactly the same. You know, young lions.
If someone's fronting you face to face and taking a piss, do you know what I mean? You got to deal with it, like. But like if someone's having a little, you can walk away from it. A big man will walk away from a fight if he can.
You got a motherfucking problem? Eh? You want some fucking knots on your fucking head? Just film, motherfuckers, because you don't know what the fuck you're dealing with over here, boy.
It's part of any teenager growing up, part of anyone growing up. It happens everywhere. You can't escape it. It's part of life, isn't it?
I'll kick every one of your fucking ass.
Whatever.
Huh? You always get hassled, though. It just comes to us, really. Well, every weekend is always a bit trouble. Good Fridays, battles down the fair. Every Good Friday when the fair opens again. A bit of violence now and again.
Comes at the corner, like.
It's not just skinheads. It's a metalheads fight, hippies fight over pot, you know, whatever. Everyone fights and stuff. Just skinheads always tagged for it.
I wouldn't doubt that violence is associated to skinheads, but sometimes it's either justified or there is a reason for it. And I think there's a great difference between violence for a reason than mindless violence. If the right wing or even the left wing decide that they're creating violence for a target and for a reason, then that's got to be a lot better than just hitting out at anybody for no reason at all.
Exactly know what happened. All I know is that these people get beat up. It's fucking bullshit. If you're fighting for a reason, that's cool. But obviously this isn't a reason. Obviously not. When you got 20 on one, that's not a fucking reason. I'm from Milwaukee. The Brew City, BCS, in our town, it doesn't happen like this. For real. Trust me, if you want to have a fun time, skinheads together, Milwaukee. Milwaukee, fucking Wisconsin. I can't believe this shit. The whole fucking night.
I just lost my way.
Why I didn't become a Teddy Boy is because, I just didn't like packies. Skinheads was all about, everyone knew Skinheads didn't like packies, and so I thought that's the one for me,
I'm a Jackson Heights thug. I look for people to beat up for no reason after a while.
Brooklyn, New York skinheads, and Hawaii, hula hula.
Harbor area skinheads, Wilmington, Carson, Long Beach.
Uptown Boot Boys? Yeah. Well, it started in the dark days of '88.
They listen to hip-hop music.
Yeah. A bunch of hoodlums.
Well, the Brooklyn Oi boys, we're stronger than ever. Most of us are dead or in jail.
It's only if you're by yourself or something they'll probably start on you. Like a couple of times we've had guys calling his name and says, right, come on then, me and you square go. And once you say that, they just can't believe it, thinking, what's this Asian guy doing, turning around and want to fight me, So a fight starts off, and we all got thrown outside. And this one in particular, I seen him and I just went up to him, and inside he was really giving this aggressive look like this, and went up to him and said, yeah. And all of a sudden his face just changed. He had all these tattoos on his head and everything made in Britain, made in Scotland and all that. He had all these tattoos everywhere. And as soon as I went up to him, his face changed and he was nearly crying. Before I even hit him, he started crying, the guy did. He was on his knees, well, just beat him up and that was it, really. Yeah.
I wouldn't say it is a particular violent cult, but people have portrayed it that way, yes. And sort of the male going to the football, having a fight type thing. But for me personally, no.
You have, as I said, such a lot of different kinds of skinheads who often don't like each other, and you have the Turks who don't like us at all. And there's a lot of violence. Yeah, hooligans.
Sometimes you're just in the mood to beat someone or whatever. Yeah. All this greasy, hippie stuff. If you go to a ska concert and it's hundreds of hippies and only 5 skins or what, you get angry.
Hast du mitgekriegt? Die Arschlöcher haben CS-Gas aus der Wanne raus. Echt? Ja. Hier, willst du was abhaben?
Ey, es geht schon.
So viel scheiß Kanaka, das ist ja nicht.
Brauchst du noch Wasser?
Deswegen.
Das ist der zweite. Wer hat noch was ab?
Nee, mach nicht. Wasser schadet doch. Ich hab das oft noch mitgekriegt.
Sag mal eins.
What we have is unified power all over. If one of our friends got hit, if anybody, even if I knew a person just one person, and that person got hit, all the skins are gonna have to fight out.
At first it was just a mob who went to school together and hung out and sniffed glue and drunk beer and that sort of stuff, but as we grew older, that gang became a lot more violent and a lot more aggressive.
We like to be remembered as the most violent firm of skinheads. That's how we like to be remembered, guys. No one else could be as violent as what we was.
Lots of people, the only language they understand is violence. When it comes to a big guy who wants to fuck you up, you can't sit there and talk to him. He'll just laugh at you and you lose respect. Violence is a way to get respect.
I think violence is fucking stupid because one day maybe you get killed or maybe you kill someone and it's not good. And it's okay to fight when you win, but one day you can't win, you know, and then you get fucking beaten up really bad. And I think that's the day people realize violence is not fun.
Stop your running about. It's time you straighten right out. Stop your running around, making trouble in the town. Rudy, a message to you, Rudy, a message to you.
It's like the same as any group, do you know what I mean? You go and a lot of people, you've got a fat one, you've got a nutter, you've got a pisshead, you've got everybody. It's just exactly the same, do you know what I mean? And if violence comes up, it's dealt with. Not by me, do you know what I mean? Obviously. I'll let them do the fighting. I have to do my other type of fighting with all the other fucking people giving me abuse, do you know what I mean?
There are instances, yeah, where, you know, you might have to defend yourself and stick up for your mates and, you know, do what you have to do. But, I think the movement generally be better off if more people thought, you know, more with their brains and less with their boots.
There's always going to be morons no matter what you're involved in. So some skinheads are going to be violent, but it's not part of the criteria for being a skinhead.
I want all you skinheads to get up on your feet. Put your braces together and your boots on your feet and give me some of that old moon stomping. Get ready. We got 3 million miles to reach on the moon. So let's start getting happy now. Ready? Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. All right. Now. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Skinhead was born out of a mixture of working class cultures, basically being the British working class culture, which was like your working class mods, sort of evolved into skinheads around 68, 69. And they picked up on the Jamaican music they'd been listening to in blues parties and things, and took it on as their own. And like as a mark of respect, reggae musicians started saying thank you by recording Skinhead Moonstomp, Skinhead Girl records like that. So reggae music and skinhead grew together.
And with regards to like sort of skinhead reggae and the rocksteady, it's hard to describe, but it's a really good feeling, you know. If you hear a good song, you're like, oh, you know, that's brilliant, and you really sort of get into the rhythm and you want to get up and dance or do whatever, but it's something that really like affects you. That's the sort of music I like, and that's why I like it, because it really sort of touches your soul.
It's always been that music for me, you know. I suppose I've just grown up as a white West Indian.
I think the song that really typifies being a skinhead has got to be Simmerip's Skinhead Moonstomp. I think it came out 1969, 1970. On that there was Skinhead Moonstomp, there was Skinhead Girl, there was Skinhead Jamboree. The whole album was dedicated to skinheads. The front cover was for skinheads. And for a group of Jamaican musicians who actively taught the skinhead cult, really emphasised the mixture of British and Jamaican cultures that had come together to make skinhead what it was.
You know, like every skinhead firm had a few Caribs in, you know. A few sort of Jamaican guys. All used to go to the same club. There was never any problem.
When a skinhead walks down the street, every chick hard skips a beat. When a skinhead walks down the street, every chick hard skips a beat. Skinhead, 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 skinhead.
I always ask them, is there any skinheads in the audience? And they would say, Yeah, quite a lot, and it makes me happy. 'Cause when I see them, I know what I'm going to expect. I know. You get what I mean? So I do like skinheads coming to my shows.
When a skinhead walks down the street, every chick hop, skip a beat. Skinhead, 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 skinhead. The chick that said that they're looking cute in the braces and the baba boot. The chick that said that they're looking cute in the braces and the baba boot. Skinhead, skinhead, skinhead.
True skinheads, you know, they're into reggae music. They like oi and stuff like that as well. You know, that's like homegrown music for skinheads, which we didn't have the first time round. No doubt, if there would have been oi bands in '69, we'd have all been into stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Oi is about having a laugh, having a say. Oi is a Cockney expression. Oi!
We were like a punk generation. You know, we were angry and we wanted to, you know, we got together and we thought, fuck the world. Do you know what I mean? And that's really what it was all about. And the sort of, the skinhead thing above anything is the only cult ever that's been true.
Well, our music's just got a point, like a strong point about life for kids and all that. It's about kids on the street, so why shouldn't they listen to it? You know, all the gangs about and all that, they're all just rave and rappers, it's just a load of crap.
So the only thing with more of an attitude is that sort of believe in yourself, stand up for yourself, fight for yourself attitude. And as long as people have got the with not necessarily with society, but with the way they're told to do things, you're always going to have some form of oi music.
The only bad reputation oi music has got, really, is because of the white noise bands, you know, the fascist punk bands. And they themselves don't call themselves oi, they call themselves like nationalist rock or some sort of crap like that. But real oi music, it's never had anything to do with, you know, fascist politics or anything like that.
We never really associate ourselves with the oi thing, although our music was very similar at the beginning to oi and sort of skinhead kind of punk music, whatever.
Skinheads in the papers, skinheads you just can't fool. Defenders from blacks with baseball bats, racism back in row. White dude picking up Nazi flags, white dude ready for war. This is the West, get used to it. The brothers wants to go over your door.
Everything other than white pride is allowed to be pushed through, and even if you got, you know, you're allowed to have a cop killer on your television program saying, yeah, buy my records, I'm a big black murderer, but you can't have somebody sitting on the television saying, these are my records, I sing about white pride, it's about pride in my race, I don't hate anybody because of their colour of the skin, I'm just very proud of the colour of the skin that I've got.
Under the guards, one step over the red line.
Blood and Honour basically was an organisation started because they wanted to break away from the White Noise Club, which was controlled by the National Front. Although the bands involved, I would say, were definitely right-wing and along those lines, they were seeing that the National Front were taking advantage of the bands and not paying anybody and basically ripping everybody off. And although we wanted to keep the politics the same, most people in the bands and you know, organisers in that kind of field felt it important to run an independent thing, totally independent of any political group, so we could bring in anybody basically who believed in the survival of the white race.
An earthquake is erupting, but not in Orange Street. A ghost dance is preparing, you got to help us with your feet. If you're not in the mood to dance, step back, grab yourself a seat. the uptown Jamaica, but we promise you a treat. Bust up on me over with your bogus dance, shuffle me off my feet.
When skinheads developed second time round, you know, the National Front started infiltrating because basically they just wanted stormtroopers. Do you know what I mean? So they thought, who's the best people to fight our fight for us? So they thought, we know, working class youth who we can mould and what have you.
The skinhead way of life came to Germany as an already distorted kind of movement because at the time when it came to Germany, the National Front already had some sort of impact on the whole movement in England. So when it came to Germany, it was, as I said, distorted in some kind of way. And there were lots of people thinking that I'm right-wing, so I have to dress up like a skinhead.
Skinheads in East Germany exist since about 86, something like that. But because there were no real connections to England, so we didn't have the background here. So most of them were of course, right-wing and just cut their hair and wore, well, we didn't have bomber jackets in East Germany, but you know, some kind of boots and that's all.
People who wore skinhead clothes, who were skinheads, were very angry. And so the extremes, they were easy targets. They're easy to pick up and say, you know, believe what we say and you'll be with us and you'll fight for us, and you would have done.
And I walk down the street and I know everybody looking at me thinks Nazi scum. I mean, I know I'm not. My mates know I'm not. But to the normal Joe in the street, that's what I'm at.
The minute they see skinheads, they go, oh, bloody Nazis.
And that is wrong.
And that is wrong. What, to me, you should say, oh, he's patriotic, he loves his country and that, and he's...
Just a culture, same as all.
You know, it's a culture, it's a way of life.
When you think of where you came from, it must fill your heart with pride.
Skinhead comes from England, and these are the roots, and I believe in them. So I wear a Gin and Jack, and I believe in England and the skinhead roots, and so I wear this button.
Praise the Lord, you was made in England.
People harp on about, you know, the old days in the 60s and stuff like that with the reggae music and stuff. Even back then there were racist skinheads and all that sort of thing, but not so much maybe affiliated to political parties. But in the late 70s and 80s and as of now, I think that the connection is definitely there.
If you know where your history comes from, which is a mixture of British and Jamaican working class cultures, how can you be a racist? By being racist, you're denying your heritage.
When we used to go and see Bad Manners and Madness and stuff like that, and although even some of the bands that would have like black musicians and that sort of thing, there was never that two-tone thing being pushed down your throat, and then the whole place was full of skinheads, and most of them were right-wing.
I think a lot of people there just go along like you do to a football match and get tagged. You know, you see people go, hey, and you think, oh yeah, that looks good, without really knowing what you're doing.
Politicians will go for the skinhead cult because of the passion involved in skinhead, so it's easy for an extreme party to grab hold of passionate kids and say, believe in us, and have passion, whether it be the Nazis, the lefties, the blooming Ban the Bombs, whoever it may be.
I mean, I remember coming out of a Bad Manners gig in the Rainbow in North London, and there must be about 500 skinheads came out, and they all walked underneath this arch with Zeke Island and stuff, and a couple of blacks got beaten up and stuff, but there was a very high presence of right wing. There was never any suggestion of any left wing thing, even though the two-tone thing probably could be, you know, sort of traced back to the black and white business.
But it's very difficult, you know, to do anything to promote racial harmony. I mean, we used to get a lot of stick for not really coming out with some sort of political agenda. But, you know, we used to just sort of talk to some of these people and try and turn them around or whatever, you know, or find out why they thought like that.
Politics is what's done most of the damage to the skinhead cult over the years. It's torn it completely in half. I mean, it's a personal thing I mean, I've got my own politics, but they're not to do with me being a skinhead, they're to do with me being a person.
To me, it's obvious. It's not politics that have ruined the scene. It's the fascists have ruined the scene with their politics.
There's no real contradiction, I don't think, in the fact that a skinhead can be white power. I think that the contradiction would be left-wing skinheads or black skinheads, because I don't see that they can be, really, because it's a white working class cult.
What you get from black people is like an unnecessary grief, because you don't expect it, you don't need it, do you know what I mean? Because it's like, I am a black person, so just let me do what I've got to do, do you know what I mean? And let me get on with it, do you know what I mean? But they don't look at it like that, they look at it as like, you're a traitor.
A lot of Nazis put you down because you're not white or whatever, and the skinheads came out from being, oh, it was a white, you know, gang or whatever. It wasn't about that, though.
Everyone said that, you know, all the skinheads are Nazis and that. And there's no way we're Nazis. I mean, my father fought Nazis in the war. All our dads did. There's no way we're Nazis, but the anti-Packy League was different. That doesn't make us Nazis. I'm English. And I'm British, and I'm proud to be English and British. But
we don't say we're Nazis
like
because
Nazis.
we like our country and that.
We're the best of Nazis, British movement.
Pressure drop, oh pressure, oh yeah, pressure going to drop on you. I say, pressure drop, oh pressure, oh yeah, pressure going to drop on you. I say, and when it drops, oh you gotta feel it, oh what you were doing wrong. I say, and when it drops, oh you gotta feel it, oh what you were doing wrong.
Both sides just want to like use you, you know, like either like the far left or the far right just want to like use skinheads like as scapegoats for whatever, you know what I mean? Just like there's like just like the Klan wanted to use skinheads to do their dirty work or whatever, then there's like whatever else groups like the anti-Nazi League want to use skinheads and everything.
Most skinheads are right-wing, and possibly they don't choose to be right-wing, but they become skinheads, but they become right-wing because they're in a position to see things as other people don't.
Rude boys stand and fight for the right to live in shanty town. Rude boys stand and fight for the right to live in shanty town. Jack, Leg, Diamond, till out iron to your mother. Jack, Leg, Diamond.
Skinheads Against Racial Prejudice started in '88 in New York. People like didn't understand it, you know, because in New York was weird times back then. It was really rough, you know, like even there were black Nazi skinheads, you know.
Sharp is not an organisation. Sharp is just a statement for expressing the way you feel. If you're a true skinhead who acknowledges your history, hates racism, is into your reggae music and stuff like that, wear a Sharp badge with pride. So Joe Public will see you with your badge on and think, oh, I got it wrong. Not all skinheads are racist.
I think that the idea of Sharp was very important for the whole of Germany because it brought the idea, it published the idea that not every skinhead has necessarily to be a racist. But the problem was that people believed that by putting a Sharp badge on their jacket, it was some sort of movement.
He says that the Sharp often use their badge as kind of excuse. If they meet a Turkish gang on the street, they'll point on their badge and say, look, I'm not Nazi, I'm not fascist, I'm with you. And if boneheads come along, they like, see Kyle, go along like that, you know? That's what he said.
Well, we get attacks from both sides, from the Sharps and even from the right wings too. So we actually really stand on our own.
Norwegians, they don't like Nazis. Like Norway was occupied by the Nazis and we feel that the Nazis should be kept away. So we made this Sharp patch and we told our friends that you put this on or you fuck off.
But after a while, I mean, it started to get a lot of shit because a lot of people thought it was sort of a group fighting against fascism.
At this point in the skinhead movement's history, I don't really see where it's needed. And I don't see why you should have to wear a Sharp patch or anything like that to prove that you're not into it. I mean, the general public doesn't like us anyway, so, you know, why bother to impress them with stuff like that?
I think it's a great shame that some skinheads seem to get into their heads that they have to always go around apologising, almost falling over themselves to say, look, we're not racist, we're not racist. without even considering what racism is and what being racist is about.
The best development that I've seen in the cult today is the whole non-political movement. The fact that skinheads are like dropping politics generally, you know, like no racist element, no sharp, that skinheads are just interested in being skinheads, and I see that aspect really growing, and I think that's one of the best things about it. And if that'll continue to grow, maybe we can get things back to the way they were in 1969.
Skinheads in the world, you know, and I think we should just fucking get together, hang out, get rid of the politics. I would say to the Nazis to like just tell the fucking Ku Klux Klan or whoever hires them to be grunts to just drop them. You know, they could think for themselves. I'll welcome you as a brother as long as you don't put your politics on to me.
I suppose the best thing you could say is, if you ain't got the nerve to stand by your roots, maybe it's time you hung up your boots.
Because you're young, sharp as a knife, you need that buzz to come alive. Out on the edge, out on the town, you ain't got time to settle down. You're always sure, you're always right. You see it all in black and white. You never listen to anyone because you're young. Because you're young, you're torn between a world of hate and a world of dreams. So much to lose, so much to gain, so much to fight for, so much to change. You don't look back, you don't look down. You're gonna turn everything around. You live your life like a loaded gun because you're young.
I think it should be remembered for the beauty of youth and how people can make something better out of their environment and out of themselves. Even if it's for a couple of years and they go off to drink beer and just become a fat slob, it doesn't matter. Then 2 years they believed in themselves.
I gotta have money to raise a family and support some kids and to have a wife and to have a life. Other than that, I'm gonna end up in jail, I'm gonna end up dead. And within Portland, it'll be too easy to end up dead.
I suppose the best memories are when I was a kid, when I was like 12, 13, 14, going up to youth clubs, do you know what I mean? Dancing to reggae music. During the summer, going down the beach on a bank holiday with all the boys, like. It was just the fun of being a youth. That's really what being a skinhead was all about.
I don't think skinheads will ever have to be remembered. They'll always be here, you know? Sort of part of the mainstream of society now.
You know you're gonna find a smiling face somewhere, almost anywhere in the world when you're a skinhead, that's for sure. As long as you can find a real one out there, he'll give you a handshake and buy you a pint, and you'll do the same if you come to your town, you know?
To remember it is basically a group of people that were interested in a way of dressing, a way music, a way of life, and enjoyed themselves.
I'd like to think that the cult would be remembered as a group of young people that took pride in themselves, took pride in the way they looked, and not the way it's obviously going to be remembered if it carries on the way it's going.
It'd be nice for it to come back from the music and the clothes, leaving the politics well out.
I think that skinheads should be remembered as the ultimate cult, the ultimate youth cult, and you know, I think that skinheads have far outlived their sell-by date as of, you know, printed by the authorities.
You know, the crop stays with you 24 hours a day. The tattoos aren't going anywhere for the rest of my life, you know. I mean, it's something that, you know, it's not a uniform I put on, you know, just to hang out on the weekends with my friends at the mall or whatever. It's something I live.
I think skinheads will be remembered by passion. It's It's about passion, and it's not about fashion. It's about a way of life, and it's about your armour. It's about your manhood. It's about your friends. You know, your whole environment.
We're horrible kids, really. Do you know what I mean? We were horrible. I mean, we all said, oh, people were picking us, but we were 20 of us walking into a pub and we were big blokes, you know, being loud and out of order. We weren't angels at all.
I don't think any other cult captures that feeling of rebellion and that feeling of strength, of comradeship as being a skinhead.
The reason why it was so feared is because it was just so true. Because people couldn't accept that it was just such a staunch way of life for people. And it wasn't a fashion, as everyone hoped and thought it would be. It was a way of life.
Reggae! We'd live and die for Friday night. Off to the alley and have a fight. Dance to reggae most of the night when we were skins. Above all this, our one big hope was pull a bird and have a grope. And if you were lucky, she'd take your own when we were skins.